The daily demand of electricity across the island is 2,600 megawatts. However, the national grid can only generate 2,260 megawatts per day. Around 500 megawatts are generated by hydropower, while the remaining 1,760 megawatts are supplied by diesel, coal and furnace oil. It has been reported that with the dry weather conditions experienced in many parts of the island, water levels at reservoirs have dropped to less than 30%. Owing to the water crisis in Kukuleganga hydroelectric power plant in Ukuwela, Rantambe is only operational at night. Meanwhile, operations at the Inginiagala hydroelectric power plant has come to a standstill since last night. In the meantime, the program to induce artificial rain over the Kasuri and Mausakali reservoirs have been temporarily halted by the Sri Lanka Air Force owing to the lack of cloud layers in the area. Meanwhile, the Ceylon Electricity Board's Engineers Union said that if the country does not receive adequate amounts of rain by the end of April, the electricity crisis could deepen further. Speaking to AdaDerana, chairman of the CEBEU, Saumya Kumarawadu said that it is the government's responsibility to ensure that adequate power plants are constructed to meet the demand of the public. Meanwhile, various views were expressed on the power issue at various platforms today as well. If they do not want to restrict electricity supply, then the government should purchase electricity from the private sector. The government has estimated that it will cost around 80 billion rupees if they are to do so. The government does not have enough money for this. During the end of my tenure, we were prepared to construct 3 LNG power plants. We need to produce energy that is environmentally friendly. We had a deal with China to create a 400 megawatt power plant with China. We also wanted to construct a plant in Kerawalapitiya with Japan, as well as a 500 megawatt power plant with India. The political coup occurred just as we were about to break ground.
Kerawalapitiya LNG.
They called for tenders for the Kerawalapitiya power plant, but the government decided to offer the tender to a Chinese company at a high price instead of the local company called Lakdanavi, which would have constructed it for a lesser price. Thereafter, the government made an unprecedented decision where cabinet approval was granted to offer the tender to both these companies, but they will have to construct a 600 megawatt power plant rather than a 300 megawatt power plant. But the issue is that the two companies will do so at different costs. The German ambassador said that with such errors made with tenders, not even one investor will think of investing in Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka diha ආයෝජකයෙක් බලන එකක්වත් නැහැ.
There was no power generation project conducted since 2014. When the demand increases by 7 to 8%, then of course we will face such issues. We're suffering the sins of inaction. But there is no point in blaming the past. We only have to suffer for a short period. It is unfortunate, but we're working towards avoiding such a crisis in the future.